Alright, I'm going to change the oil in an '06 Honda Pilot. First I take the oil cap off to let air in the engine because the oil will drain faster. The oil fill cap is right down here. Doesn't hurt to pull the dipstick out to make sure it's there. And then I climb under the car. I'm working in a custom-made trailer that lifts the car up about 12 inches off the floor, but at home you'd have to jack it up on jack stands or drive it up on a couple of 2x6s or something, or some ramps, aftermarket ramps. Under the car. Almost all Hondas are 17 millimeter. Wrench. Pull the drain plug out. Inspect the washer. This one looks like I just put a new one on last time, so it should be fine. And here's the filter. I have special wrenches, just big pliers, special pliers for this. I can grab it and get it. Let that drip. I have a nice big oil collection pan here. Try to do this all one-handed and not make too much of a mess. Make sure when you take the old filter off that the gasket, the rubber gasket's on there. You don't want it to stick to the engine. It does that sometimes in some cars. Then you want to put a little bit of oil on the new gasket. I just rub it against the old one. Check the base up there to make sure there's no debris on it. I don't know if you can see it or not. Right here, to make sure you should just wipe it off. The rag is probably the best thing you can do, but this looks good. You can generally just hand tighten them. But if you can't, don't use those pliers because that could put a hole in it. Use a cup wrench like this. It goes on there and you can tighten it a little with that. And then you put the drain plug back in. Make sure you tighten it. Then you put the oil in. Grab a funnel. Stick it down in there. Make sure this is pulled out because that lets air out when you pour oil in. This car probably takes somewhere between 3.5 and 4 1/4 quarts. You pour it in, make sure it's not, it's coming out down there and making a mess, but this is fine. I'm going to put about 3.5 quarts in it. I'm going to start it, see how full it is. This car is supposed to have 5W20. It says right there. Careful not to drop the cap like I just did. Put the cap back on. Probably stick this back in. and you got to start it. Start it, let it run for about 30 seconds or so. Make sure the oil pressure goes up or the oil light doesn't come on. There's no oil light coming on. Wouldn't hurt to take a quick look underneath to make sure no oil squirting out of the filter, and to make sure it's seated properly. Then you should probably let it sit for about 30 seconds to a minute before you check the oil, let it settle. I put some washer fluid in while I'm waiting. I have it in a tank so I can just do this. Wipe the dipstick off. Dipstick in there. See, it's not even showing up on there yet, so it needs at least another quart. I have a tank here. I put a 200-gallon tank, my bulk oil in it. Let's check it again. Still low. This car might take 4.5 or so, I'm not sure. It should be in your manual. Whatever your manual says, put about a half a quart less and then run it. You don't want to end up putting too much oil in it. This is, oil's cold, so I'm letting it sit for a minute in here to get an accurate reading. Showing on there now, but it's still a little low. But if it's sat, it'd probably go up a little more. So I'm going to dump about another half a quart in. Still down about 1/3 of a quart, but I think once it sets, I'm gonna let it sit for 2 or 3 minutes and give it one more check to make sure everything's fine. Here's where you put the coolant in. There's a full line on it. If you get a flashlight, you can see it down there. Power steering fluid. Honda uses a special power steering fluid that says Honda on it, so you should always make sure it says it's for Honda vehicles. There's a brake fluid reservoir, air filter housing. That's it. Make sure you take the funnel out, put the cap back in there, put your dipstick back in, and you're good to go. That's it. Thank you for watching. Bye.